Exodus, God and Kings in 3D. Exodus, God and Kings in 3D. This is a 3-disc pack. You get the 2D, the 3D, and you get a bonus disc, which has many, many extras. I'm not going to go over that here. This is currently 6 out of 10 on Internet Movie Database, 31% approval score on Rotten Tomatoes, a 2-hour and 30-minute film, 2.39 to 1 aspect ratio, English DTS Master Audio 7.1, and it's directed by Ridley Scott. As you know, Ridley Scott, if you hear Ridley Scott, your ears have to perk up. Yes, he's hit and miss. My son told me, yeah, he's hit and miss. But if it's directed by Ridley Scott, you got to check it out. You got to at least look into it. Christian Bale as Moses. Christian Bale as Moses. Joel Edgerton as Ramses. And there is a whole slew of other stars in here. I mean, I could go on and on. I'm going to show you some pictures here. Sigourney Weaver's in here. I don't know what they paid her. I hope it wasn't any more than a McDonald's Happy Meal, because I think she only had like 2 lines in here. 2 lines, that was it. So what do you got here? You've got the adaptation of the biblical account of Exodus. And I'm going to talk about this in 3 categories. I'm going to talk about it for the 3D, and I'm going to talk about it, did Ridley Scott produce a cinematic masterpiece? And then in the third thing I want to talk about is how well does this line up with the biblical account, with the King James Version. First, so let's talk about the 3D first. I just want to talk about the 3D. The 3D is absolutely amazing, fantastic. Go check out Go Find Fun channel. Go Find Fun is the name of his channel. Check out his review. I'll put a link down here in the show notes. He breaks down the 3D for you. Shows you some scenes and stuff with the cameras and things like that, which I'm sure are on the extra discs. They filmed this in 3D. It is the most, I'm not going to say it's the most gorgeous 3D, but I would describe this as gorgeous. It's definitely reference quality, what I call reference quality. If nobody's ever seen 3D, you sit them in, bring them in, sit them down, and say, here, put these on, watch this 3D. This is 3D. It's the best actually filmed in 3D without any flaws at all. The dips are incredible. The colors, you're going to get stick outs, you're going to get spears sticking out, you're going to get, arrows flying out. You're going to get, chariots coming at you in the face. You're going to get rocks coming by you. You're going to get flies that go past you, come from behind you and go into the screen. It's just phenomenal. The 3D is absolutely phenomenal. There isn't anything wrong with it. The sound score is absolutely great. Makes a really good epic. And so the 3D is well worth picking this up. If you're interested, if you're a 3D collector, you have to have this. You really do. You have to see these effects. You have to see. You're going to get locusts bouncing off your glasses. You're going to get hailstones bouncing into the room. Flies flying around in front of your face. It's insane. It really is. It is that good. All right? I don't want to make this too long. So now we're going to move on. Did Ridley Scott, did he come up with a cinematic masterpiece? Absolutely. It is in its standalone as itself is a cinematic masterpiece. And the story that it tells, and again, we're going to get into that later. It moves along fine. The plot is good. I was munching on my popcorn. I ate my popcorn from start to finish. I was going to break this into 2 parts. Couldn't turn it off. Christian Bale's Moses. My goodness, he pulls off Moses. I think he pulls off Moses very well. Very well. Of course, he was a lot older in the biblical account, but we're going to talk about that later. But he plays a great part. The emotions, I could feel it. At times a little wooden, but you know what? That he did it much better as time went on. All right, what do you got here? Joel Edgerton as Ramses. My goodness, I thought he stole the show. I really did. I got vested in him. Man, he's feeling it. And I'm telling you, I don't want to ruin it for you. There's some scenes in here around a baby crib and stuff like that. It's absolutely incredible. He really pulls it off. He pulls off Ramses. He really does. And so, and the cinematography, the editing and the plotting and everything is absolutely fantastic. Fantastic cinematography in itself. In itself, he pulled it off. Cinematic masterpiece. Now, let's talk about how well this lines up with the Bible, with how well it lines up with the biblical account of Exodus. For the first 45 minutes, there were some things that happened, and I said, well, it didn't really happen that way, according to the King James. It didn't happen, but that's okay. I can forgive that. About 45 minutes in, again, a couple of times, yeah, okay, but we're still moving along. We're still following the story really well. Then about 1 hour in, out of 2.5 hours, the wheels came off, man. I mean, the wheels came completely off. This thing went off the rails. It doesn't follow it. Okay, there are some main points. Let me put it to you this way: if you were to take the biblical account of Exodus and say break it into, let's break it into 20 pieces. Let's take the biblical account, the King James Version biblical account. Let's break it into 20 pieces. And what this movie does, it says, let's grab piece 5, 7, 8, and 9, and let's grab piece 13 and 14, and we'll fill in the rest, and make a great story out of it. And that's what it does. And in that sense, it succeeds. But if you want to really, if this perks you to want to know a little bit more and see a closer to King James Version cinematic, then you need to go see the Ten Commandments, the 1956 award-winning Ten Commandments. Charlton Heston as Moses, Yul Brynner as Ramses. Yes, the effects. Come on, it's 1956. How do you think they're going to get effects for 1956? The effects are amazing. In fact, I love the parting of the sea. The burning bush looks good. The parting of the sea. And what's missing in Exodus, God, and Kings is that repertoire between Moses and Ramses. And Moses didn't want this job. He said, send somebody else. I can't speak too good. I don't want this job, and here he's portrayed as a general, and that's fine. He didn't want the job. But his staff was everything in the biblical account. That staff and that repertoire that he had and the way they spoke to one another. Hollywood can never bring the biblical account to true life as it is, as you could read it and see it in your mind. And when you read that biblical account of Ramses, Moses goes in and he says, let my people go. And you're going to see that in the Ten Commandments. Ramses says, ye are idle. Ye are idle. That's why you want to go out in the desert. So, you can't, it's hard to bring that to the screen. But Ten Commandments brings the biblical account better to the screen in that respect. Okay, so what am I going to do with this? For the 3D, it's getting 5 out of 5 stars for the 3D. For Ridley Scott's cinematic masterpiece, it's going to get 4 out of 5 stars. For its closeness to the King James biblical account version, it gets 1.75 out of 5 stars. All right? So what did you think? Did you see it? Did you see it in 3D? Did you see it 2D? Did you see it in the theaters when it came out in 3D? And what are your thoughts on these ratings? It's a cinematic masterpiece, yet it's 31% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's because the storyline varied so much. I don't know. That's just my guess. All right? So leave some comments below. Let me know. Hit that like and subscribe button. Got a lot more reviews come out. Got some suggestions from some of my subs, and I'm going to be following those leads. And I want you to have a good night. I want you to stay safe. And as always, God bless.